Hey Math 10, I just wanted to do a quick overview of the first chapter, which is called Real Numbers, and it's all about different types of foundational topics involving the real numbers, which are basically just all the numbers that you have experienced in your lifetime, and maybe a few you haven't. We're going to start off with number systems on the first day. Basically, this is just going to be categories of numbers. You might have heard this before. Integers and whole numbers and rational numbers and that kind of stuff. So defining some terms that we're going to use throughout the whole course. And we'll get some practice in categorizing some numbers into the correct categories. Another topic that's going to be a bit of review is going to be greatest common factor and least common multiple. This is a surprisingly large amount of work to do in this set of questions. And one of the reasons is because something like greatest common factor is going to be one of the most important things in our whole course, not just this unit. Factors are going to be a theme for the whole course, not just for a number. Like you've probably broken a number into its factors before and like done prime factorization, but you can also break polynomials into factors. We're not going to do that just yet, but we're going to see this word factor appear over and over and over in the course. So it'll be good to sort of work with greatest common factors and least common multiples with concrete numbers before we go on to do things with like x and x squared minus 4 and stuff like that. After that, we're going to be spending basically one day to do two different parts. These are going to be just exploring basically square roots. It's going to be a lot about square roots. And we can use a calculator for a lot of it, so it's not going to be a big deal. But some of it we cannot use a calculator, so we'll kind of focus on... Sorry, you can still use a calculator, but it won't help you get the entire correct answer. We're going to have to do still a little bit of other work. Surprisingly, it will involve factors, so factors will be really useful for doing these two lessons. Starting in 1.5, the exponential notation is a really big topic. We're actually going to spend two classes just on 1.5. There's a lot to know. There's a whole set of things called the exponent laws. So we're going to explore the exponent laws and see some pretty spectacular questions that will look really huge, and we'll sort of evaluate or simplify down to, a tiny little answer. So it'll be interesting to see those questions. They'll be pretty challenging, but we'll spend a fair bit of time on it. Same with 1.6, irrational numbers. We're going to be looking again at square roots, but they'll be simplifying a square root. So something like square root of 48, we can break down into the square root of 16 times the square root of 3, and then the square root of 16 is actually just 4, so that's 4 times square root of 3, and so on. So doing some kind of like simplifications with square roots, which again will also involve factors, greatest common factors, prime factorization, that kind of stuff. So that's going to be the whole chapter. The biggest amount of work, and also what's probably going to be most tested at the unit test at the end of this, is going to be exponential notation and irrational numbers, 1.5 and 1.6. And, the first 4 topics will mostly be review, but important for doing these things. So that's going to take us for sort of the first week, which isn't really a whole week, and the second week, which is also not really a whole week. So 7 days, all that remote time, that first sort of section of remote course time is all going to be about Chapter 1, the real numbers. So I look forward to working with you on this, and don't ever hesitate to ask questions as we go. Okay? Thanks, everybody.